The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
It's time for an inside look at the most powerful motorsport on the planet. WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro. This is WFO Radio.
Happy Friday, WFO Radio back on the air. Winners edition from the 69th Dodge Power Brokers U.S. Nationals. We heard from Antron Brown and Matt Harford. We've got to hear from Ron Capps and Matt Smith, and we're all doing it as race week is still in the rearview mirror. Of course, next week we're going to be getting ready for the countdown, headed up there to the House of Chaos, the Pep Boys NHRA Nationals, Maple Grove, Pennsylvania. If you're anywhere in the area, you got to get out there. You got to be a part of this. Just looking at the points, thinking about who the favorites are, who's got a shot to win, and it's very, very challenging to determine favorites from dark horses because everyone has had a pretty decent season. And, even guys in the middle of the pack have got a couple of wins. It's going to be great. We got Ron Capps just minutes away. So do me a favor, jump on your mobile device, click share, click retweet, forward, repost, do whatever you got to do to make sure that this show goes out there. Because, to me, this is like a Friday winners celebration. Celebration is what we're doing. And before we get to Caps, what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you about a couple of the sponsors who make it possible for me to go WFO. You already heard about Total Seal Piston Rings. We had Matt Harford on yesterday. We got FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters. Power Glides for Top Sportsman, Top Dragster, .90, big money brackets. There's some big money bracket racing ongoing as we speak, right? But also Pro Modified. Big power street cars, FTIperformance.com. Definitely check them out. Also, Phillips Connect. Yeah, there's FTI on board Jimmy Lewis's car. Phillips-Connect.com. Check out Phillips. If you are in the transportation industry, smart trailer technology, stay connected, and it's so worthwhile to know what's going on out there. I can connect you. Email me, Joe at WFOradio.com. The folks at Foggett, this is Gary Stinnett and Steve Williams. It's a great protective for the inside of your racing engine, your cylinder hone. You've worked so hard on it. But Gary's got, valve springs. You don't want any microscopic corrosion or rust to appear on any part of the steel parts in your engine. So it is great to use Foggett on your entire engine. Foggett.com. After you've raced, check them out. And, of course, Bernie Speed Shop. 100,000 square feet. They're buying, they're selling, they sell on consignment, the whole deal. They sell e-bikes. They're located in Ocala, Florida, Bernies.com. All right. So I see Caps has made like a last second set adjustment, which is an improvement on Antron yesterday, like calling me during the show. So let's see what Caps has got going on. There he is. This is it. The winter celebration begins. What's up, Caps?
Oh, we were out in the shop. I'm up in Sacramento area at Bill Wyndham's place, and we tried doing it for the shop, but the internet connection was cutting out. So we ran into his office.
Oh, you did good. You were very fleet of foot. Bill Wyndham, not everybody knows Bill. Tell everybody who Bill is, because he has been the tip of the spear with something very cool that has been happening out at the National Hot Rod Association, talking about those Legends funny cars. And I think a program that is kind of coming into its own. We saw the first one last year in Vegas, and Bill has been the guy who's championed pretty much, I don't know if the whole deal, but a lot of it.
Yeah, so all the nostalgia cars we saw them at Bristol and Vegas the year before, the Las Vegas race, and everybody's loved them. So they're going to have an announcement about next year with NHRA and having more of them. But the Nitro, they call them the Legends Nitro funny cars, and it's a group of the baddest, nostalgia funny cars is what the term is. But you know how much I love doing that with the March meet and all those events. And so, so Bill's got a nostalgia funny car, and he bought the old Burkholder Brothers fuel altered that I ended up driving at the March meet. So that's a legendary car. And so we're up here celebrating some birthdays. Cousin Donnie, his better half, Jenny, it's her birthday. My wife's birthday was the day before yesterday. So we're having a whole bunch of people come up, and at the Wyndham Resort here above Sacramento, and just going to hang out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, I saw cousin Donnie at the boatyard on Monday night. He was all fired up, and just amazing how it all worked out. But I feel like I'm not in proper gear to celebrate this amazing win. You came on before the show or before the race. You told us about the snake scheme. You were very busy with the snake scheme. And then, we'll go through all of it, right? Because it was really cool. But then you delivered, and here you're back on a win with the Don the Snake car. So I feel like I should be, this isn't exactly a Hot Wheels. This is the Pepsi Challenger hat. This hat has been in my family since like 1982. You can see the big foam puff.
Wow. You can't bend those, Joe. Those are old school. You got to keep it straight.
Whatever it is, I'm not touching it. It's got to survive.
You got to straighten the bill out. That's an old school.
Yeah.
High top.
This is how it is. I'm not going to move it. But now I feel right. Okay. So looking back on the weekend, all the work, all the effort, the idea that the racing gods allowed you to win in that circumstance.
Crazy. We started putting this thing together, and Phil Burgess just wrote a great article on NHRA.com on the weekend. And I leaned on him for a lot of the history. And he was one of the first people I checked with on the history when we were starting to put this together. And I just got the okay from Napa, and I just got the okay from Toyota. And I called Snake to get his okay. And Phil Burgess was great because he really explained everything and how iconic this car was. And it wasn't exactly this car that won Indy in '73. It was actually a different car, but everybody knows this Hot Wheels car. Everybody played with this as a kid, right?
Right.
I built the models in such an iconic snake and mongoose. So with that being said, it just, I started putting it together, and it's amazing we kept it a secret, first of all. Tony Stewart lent his shop out because our team came back from the win in Brainerd, and the bodies went straight to a building somewhere in Brownsburg that Tony owns that's vacant, and we started wrapping it, and somehow we kept it secret until we released it the Friday after Brainerd. So we were just hoping everything worked out. Uniforms, we tried to go retro right out of the movie, which was 10 years ago. The fire suit, we had Simpson make the fire suit and had that designed super quick, and that was what Snake wore in the movie. Just tried to be as authentic as possible. We ran out of time. I didn't get the signatures from Hot Wheel and Mattel until right there at the 11th hour. But our idea was to have white bell-bottom pants with the stars down the side for the crew, which would have been awesome. So, but as it was, to go on and win the race and have Snake there was crazy.
Maybe the pants you wouldn't have won, like everything has to fall into place, and everything did fall into place. But we had to wait for it, right? Because like you're in the Mission Foods deal, and looking back, I know you wanted to win the Mission Foods deal, and you won the overall Mission Foods deal, but the whole John Force versus Don the Snake moment, and Force gets to get a lick in, right? On a weekend that is all about Don the Snake, John Force is like, yeah, I was there. I got a lick in, right? Against the Snake. And it's like, I don't know. It's like the great icons of our sport being able to still mix it up in that moment. Looking back, you won the big event. He won the Mission Foods event. Take me back to thinking about that. You got Force in the other lane. You got Snake behind your car. Like that's as big for a drag racer as anything can get, even though it was a bonus race.
Yeah, the fact we were getting to run this special body, and again, thanks to Napa for even allowing it the way it happened, and they were crucial in letting this car be as authentic as possible. And so many throwback things with NASCAR, and people have done in the past, that it's people try to go a little throwback, but you got to have your sponsors on there. And I was so blessed to have Napa let me do this the way that we did it. But I was thinking going into the race, all the hoopla, and we had a press conference planned with Snake warming the car up, in the pit area. And as it was coming together, I was thinking, how cool is this? So we've got obviously Indy on Monday, but now we've got the Too Fast, Too Tasty, which we knew we were leading, and we knew we could clinch the overall win with that. How cool would it be to win that? And then go into the call out with a chance to win that, and then a chance to win Monday, all with this car. So it wasn't just like a normal race. Obviously the call out, didn't happen with Robert calling us out on Sunday, but the Too Fast, Too Tasty, getting to the final round and being John Force and us under the lights was already, I was thought, you know, this is going to be the great start to the weekend. So yeah, we were hoping I pedaled it and it put a head gasket out real quick. And it was funny because I got out of the car at the other end and Force is on his knees bowing to the car as I'm getting out. And he came over to me a couple of times the weekend with almost tears in his eyes. And he says, man, this is the coolest thing ever. He was just staring at the car. He says, it's so cool you did this. And this car gives me chills, he said, because it's the era I came up in and they beat up on me. This is before John Force is the John Force we know. He was beat up weekly. And he was just telling me the stories about this car. He had nightmares and dreams about this car because it was his hero. And so that was cool. And for us to be in the final was cool as well. And see the excitement that Force had. You know, he needs that once in a while. But it's funny because in typical Snake fashion, we got ready to leave the track. And he goes, man, that Force got one up on us already. And I was like, here we go. It's just like when I drove for him, right? So I thought we better get back at somebody at Force's, hopefully, Sunday or Monday.
But exactly, though. And that's what I'm getting at. Every drag racer wants to win every single race all the time, but that can't happen. And those racing gods that we talked about, like they made you wait. They made you wait. They stayed you up against Force. You came up a little short. Robert calls you out. You came up a little bit short. In the grand scheme of things, like if you don't win the U.S. Nationals, you're infuriated. Like it's a terrible weekend. You're bothered. But you won. Like the racing gods. I know, some people get mad at me when I mention them, but they're real, man. There's something out there. Maybe it's math. Maybe it's the aliens, but something. Like it all worked out, like in a weird way.
Yeah, up until last year when we finally won it, I'd been asked by the media, and it was typical, you've won a championship, but you've never won Indy. So I go, okay, here we go. So, and I made that comment about when the Indy gods, the Indy drag racing gods decide it's your time, it's going to be your time. Because Indy's been weird and special throughout the years. People have won one race. There's guys that have won one race and it's been Indy, and then they disappear, or that's their first national event win or things like that. So there's always something that makes you earn it, and it just happens. And I sort of threw that out there hoping to distract, and give a little detour to some of the media people who were beating on me for never having an Indy trophy. So, but I also meant part of it. And several years ago, I said, you could walk around in the pit area and you could stop. And if there's a chance you could pick up a pebble over near the staging lanes. And that quite possibly could have been a pebble that Don Garlitz stepped on in his pit area. He could have been pitted there or walked on it before one of those major weekends, or the Snake between 1965 and winning at Top Fuel with Roland Leon, and then winning Funny Car, but all the wins. So that place has got so much history, right? Like the Speedway. So yeah, I meant part of that as far as the gods, but it was strange. And this year in the press room having Snake sit next to me, because for a second I stopped and I go, this is an Indy god. Like he's a living god of Indy. And for all of us, right? The way we look up to him as a forefather. So yeah, I meant it, but it was strange this year to have him actually there.
Yeah, and we're heaping the love upon him. I know that probably never gets old, but at some point, he was the center of attention for the entire weekend. You guys, everybody worked him, right? And he was gracious throughout the entire thing. You guys got best appearing car. We had a second best appearing car, which was cool. Just amazing moments throughout the entire. This one was captured right after the win. I shook his hand. Pulled me in for a hug. Daryl Gwynn is there. Like this, from what I gather, was very special to him. Like he, we honor people all the time after they pass away, and it's terrible because they're not with us anymore. And Snake is on his feet and he's able to move and he's able to enjoy. The guy's 81 years old, but he looks great. There's no doubt that drag racing loves Snake, and he knows that. Yeah,
and it's been just going nonstop. He's texting me every day. He's up with Chip Ganassi right now, Laguna Seca. But he has literally texted me every single day. Like we got home Tuesday, we flew home, and he texted me, I don't know about you, but I'm on cloud 9 still. And that was cool to get. Then he sent me a picture of him next to the ramp truck, the original ramp truck. And I had a guy that used to run Hot Wheels send me a ramp truck, one of the die-cast original ramp trucks. So it's on the way to my house. Carson, who's been around forever and was with Hot Wheels. So it's just been going on all week. It's been nonstop. We're sharing stories and articles, and it just keeps going. So, I mean, somebody did some math, and it's like, I'm close to 6 million people it's touched, throughout social media and all the different venues and places and outside of drag racing. So it just, it's going to be fun to live off this one for a while.
Yeah. Well, you did something great for drag racing. You did something great for Snake. It was good for you. It was good for Napa.
Because I've got thousands of messages. I mean, I've been blown up. People asking, is there going to be a die-cast? So I haven't responded to anything. Yes, there will be. We're already working on it. There's going to be some shirts, some cool shirts, and some really cool hats and some other merchandise that we're going to be announcing here shortly. And I'll put it on my social media with that car. Everything surrounding that car only. We didn't want to wash down what was going to happen at Indy with having stuff sold at the track. It wasn't a money grab. So yes, there's stuff coming. I promise you guys, and we'll be able to announce it soon. These Fortune 500 companies, you got to work with attorneys and you got to get signatures on things to make sure that things like this are written exactly the way it should be. So it's coming, and I will post some stuff on it. And also, I just about a few minutes ago, that same car that was at the Toyota display, which is our backup body, we kept it wrapped, and it will be, as far as I know, going to be in the Toyota area at the drag races near the end of the season. For sure, Las Vegas and Pomona, quite possibly St. Louis and Dallas. So you fans in that area, you will be able to see that car in the Toyota display. And literally before I went on the show with you, I was talking to Toyota about it. So they're very excited. I know our fans will be, because there may be a chance I'll get those special handout cards that people were fighting over to get to, which was pretty cool as well. So anyway, stay tuned on all that.
That's great
stuff coming.
Big breaking news. And that was one that was happening throughout the weekend. And it's hard to explain. We didn't want to give the appearance that we were trying to make money off of this, right? Especially with Mattel and Hot Wheels and to get their approval. I'm sure that was part of it, but now they might be into it, right? Like, whoa, hey, there's these people want to buy this stuff. Who knows what's going to happen? But this wasn't about making money and selling T-shirts.
No, we could have, throughout the weekend, but we chose not to for a lot of reasons, but mainly it was I didn't want to take anything away from what we were doing. So I knew later we could, obviously have some die cast and stuff that's coming, but the shirts, I just got a bunch of drawings on them, and the hats and all the stuff is very cool. It's got the car on it, and fans are going to love it. We're going to make replica jerseys. I got offered $2,000 for one of the uniform tops for some guy, and people have been blowing me up. Those won't be for sale that our team wore, but we're making replicas exactly of those, and those will be available also coming up. And I'm making some shirts that are replica of that fire suit, which is cool because it's all retro. So there's some cool stuff for the fans coming out, and I talked to Snake about it. He gave the okay on the shirts already yesterday. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Look at it this way, folks. Caps just saved you money, and here's how. If you'd had to buy two shirts, right? Because then there would have been the Snake U.S. National Winter Edition, right? Like you'd have had the Snake shirt. Now you got the winter one. So you'd have to buy two. He's saving you time and money by waiting till after he won to offer the shirt. You're welcome. Simple as that. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Let's talk about, I got a bunch I want to talk to you about, but I don't want to take you all day. So just, focus in on the rounds they were all really challenging. Dale Creasy had shown they could run 390s in the first round. You were qualified fifth, assuming the NHRA ladder on NHRA.com is correct. Matt Hagan in the second round, always brutal. Robert Height, semifinals, always brutal. JR Todd in the final round. They had some troubles with their brakes on the top end. It's lucky that JR was able to keep the car off of people on the top end. You come around the corner, you got no brakes. My goodness, that's a heads up call by JR. I think that put them a little behind, but who knows? But just walk us through your race day and the rounds that really, maybe had a little something extra to them. It seems like they all would with Hagan, Height, and JR.
Yeah, we missed a little on some runs, especially in the right lane. That lane's got a small bump for fans at home. It ain't much, but there's so much character between those two lanes. Indy, I said it last year, it's a very difficult track to negotiate as a funny car driver. Both lanes have very unique things, and you got to be ready. It's not just blasting down there on a flat racetrack. So we liked the left lane a little better, but as the day went on, there were some oil downs and weird stuff that we had lane choice. Guido really wanted to get lane choice and run good the first round to get it over possibly Hagan. I know he was running whoever, and you don't want to count on anything, let alone us counting on beating Creasy. So we did that. He hauled ass that first run, and we got lane choice over Hagan. That was huge because we had the regular season championship up for grabs. I know it wasn't even talked about much, but at our camp, and I guarantee Hagan's, with 1.5 points in Indy, we were only 21 going in, and with the bonus points, whoever won that round was going to get the regular season championship and the little bonuses that go into our bank when we start the countdown. So that was a big, big matchup in a lot of different ways. Plus, we had the snake car, all the emotions going on. So that was big. That was a big win.
And we just lost Ron.
Oh.
And now he's coming back. He's back. We lost you for a second, and now you're back.
Okay.
It was a split second. You just finished talking about Hagan.
Yeah, so that was a huge matchup with Hagan for a lot of different reasons. So we did get that round by, clinched the championship for the regular season. And then we obviously saw Robert Height was next. And that was, obviously he won, that was the car to beat. Look, he ran, I think he won the bonus points almost every session, it seemed like. I mean, they were running great. So we knew that was big. Obviously, that's always a big round with Jimmy Prock. And to win that was also huge. And I'm not sure, I wasn't looking past that at all. And we didn't have a lane choice, I don't think, going in that round. So then in the final, JR's car, we beat Robert, and I got around the corner, and all that stuff was going on. The body was off the DHL car, and I'm like, what is going on? So I was texting Slugger and Chad in between, and I said, hey, if you guys are bringing another car out or whatever you're doing, let us know, and we'll stall a little bit if we can, to help out, our Toyota family, right? So they fixed the brake problem, didn't have to go to the backup car, and they already had the cylinder heads going on, as Slugger said, so all was good there. And we all rolled up together, in fact, for the final round, and we don't have lane choice, and honestly, I was shocked. We rolled up, and they took the right, but they'd won the round before and got lane choice over us in the right lane. So I was like, hurry up, start the car before they change their mind, because we actually liked the left lane a little better, and we were lucky enough to get the win. That car's really come around. They're going to be tough in the countdown, but we didn't have time to get nervous. We just got up there, fired it up, and it's been emotional all weekend because I could barely see yellow on the hood, and I hated it because I'm used to not seeing that, and emotionally knowing snakes there and just all the stuff around everything, I was trying to block everything out. I can't see my fire suit. I can't see my helmet, so I don't see any of that snake stuff, and I didn't want to see the big screen, and I told myself not to look up, and I'm backing up for the burnout against JR, and I look up, and they got snake up there. I'm like, stop looking. So I just want to get up and stage the car, and it was a quick light, and off we went, and I never saw him, and I couldn't believe it. There was a shutdown area on the radio to the guys just going, oh my God, did this just happened? Like, there's no way this could have happened. And so it's just a crazy, surreal moment down there.
Who is the, and you don't have to give, but I want you to, you had to have gotten a lot of response from people outside of drag racing or within drag racing. Like normally the best text to get is from Snake, but you didn't get a text because he was there. So what kind of text did you get? Like, hey man, that was cool. That would be amazing to us.
I mean, I had 380 texts. It was Ace, and it was Roland Leong, and God, so many different people. I mean, NASCAR, all the people were Clint Boyer and Kenny Wallace and Jimmy Johnson, and just the people that watched it and followed it along for the weekend. I couldn't even tell you. It was crazy. I'm still trying to answer everybody. So he sent me a text. I'm getting to it, I promise. But God, Joe, a lot of really cool people in my world that I looked up to my whole life to get those texts. The guys at Andretti Racing, with Michael Andretti, and yeah, just very cool because, like you and I talked, it transcended more than where just our world of drag racing. So many people that was a big deal, that Hot Wheels car. So yeah, it And it's still, I'm getting messages and emails and articles written, and just, it's been going on and on.
Funny story for everybody out there. I think I mentioned this on the Ignition show. They're all blurring together. But, I was up at dark 30 on Thursday morning, Tuesday morning, full on zombie mode, dropping off the rental car. The guy in front of me is going way too slow. The guy behind me is like right on my bumper. Who is this guy? Whatever. Pull in there. There's no attendant even. I get out. I slam the door closed. I look at the guy behind me, and who is it? It's this guy.
I was going to bump draft you. I didn't know it was you. I was like, who is this guy? Get going.
Looking a little, it was the guy in front of me, looking a little disheveled, tired. It's 5 a.m. or 4:50 a.m., something like that. But that moment, man, like, the moment of accomplishment that you had on your face, the look of like, we did it. Like, That is incredible. It's so much bigger than drag racing because, the throwback concept, everybody wants it. You've mentioned NASCAR and the way they do like quasi throwback, but I think it's kind of not exactly. This was a throwback. Everybody wants it in drag racing. They all say the same thing. Our sponsor is not going to get as many views as they normally would, and so they're not going to approve it. I think you might have killed that impression because Napa, I think, did way better than they would have done on a normal weekend, all things being equal.
Yeah, we got a great agency that Napa has called Bespoke right there in Charlotte. Do a lot of NASCAR stuff, but it's been fun. Marty Walsh, who is the one that basically signed off on coming with me as a team owner.
Don't worry, he'll be back in a second. They just popped right back on. There he is. That's fine.
Okay, am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You just flicker. It's weird. I don't know what it is. You're getting a text or something, but it's fine.
No, we're up in the hills. I'm on his Wi-Fi, and it's we're up in the hills above Sacramento.
Listen, he's got to rebuild that car, man. If he's going to skimp on Wi-Fi, it's okay.
No. So anyway, Marty Walsh, who decided to come with me as a team owner, Catherine Wooten, another big influence on us, and handles all the motorsports for Napa, and Brandon, who works for her. They sent me emails after the weekend. They were just blown away by how much more and bigger this was than it would have been with a Napa Auto Care car, because that's what we usually run at Indy and Reading, Pennsylvania. So it's still going, and they love it. And they just love that they're hearing from all their people out in the field with this, the Napa store owners and all these garage owners, the Napa Auto Cares, that obviously Snake is a big deal to any mechanic, right? Because most of them are our age, and it's just, it's blown them away. So yeah, I'm just glad it worked out. And, the fact that they let this happen for our fans, and it's come back tenfold, and it's just going to keep going, go to the end of the year.
So Garlitz once told me, he's like, the second day you run 340, they're going to ask you if you can run 350. And that's just the way drag racers are, right? Like, you just accomplished something, but it is true. So when are we going to see the Army car? When are we going to see the Army car, Ron? Like, this is the Hot Wheels car.
Did I say that to you? Or did you just make that up?
I'm just making it up.
Oh.
It's logical.
We went to Rick's Boatyard for our celebration after the win. We did it last year too. And Snake's there, and he's just enjoying himself. And I gave a speech to all our guys, and then Snake talked to the team. And he said, that Hot Wheels car, it was all great. It was very popular. He said, but my Army car, that was the bad hombre. And so I got my wheels turning, and I didn't realize that Hot Wheels made that Army car. And so you never know. We got a whole year to think about this. But when we were growing up, that Army car, I don't know what streak was that he went on. It was a pretty amazing, funny car for our history. So you never know. Army is one of Napa's customers. I know that. So hey, you never know.
And I think that they could use a little help with recruitment, and maybe there's a tie-in and whatever, and everybody back off. This is Ron Steele. All right, playoffs. Let's talk about this. You're about to go. This was really nice. You won the second U.S. Nationals. Your career is now unquestionable, right? 3 championships, 2 U.S. Nationals, a whole host of all kinds of stuff. But what lies ahead might be your toughest challenge. And whoever wins it, their toughest challenge, maybe the toughest of all time. I don't know. I'm big into hyperbole, but I'm having a tough time handicapping the deal. There's you, there's Robert and Jimmy, there's Hagan. JR last year not running well. This year, running well and running well right now. Wilkerson has won 2 races. Chad Green is an X factor. Alexis DeJoria is capable of winning a race at any time and 2 in a row if she wants. It's different than it was last year, where you guys kind of had the big 3 thing going on. So just kind of give us your take. What do you have to do well to be successful as we go into the Pep Boys Nationals?
Overall, NHRA fans they got to be in heaven, right? Matt Smith winning, Antron fighting through all that and winning, Matt Hartford and all the pro stock guys that are going at it. It's going to be fun. My gosh. I mean, I'm going to have to Monday mornings go back and watch the TV shows on Fox because it's going to be crazy. So, but as funny car goes, you're right. You just named off like 10 or 11 cars. You didn't mention Cruz.
No.
Remember what he did at the end of the year and how good they were running. We left Pomona and everybody was like, oh man, that's going to be the car to beat starting next year. So they're running good as well. And they had a great Indy. Somebody asked me in the media room about the countdown and what, and I said, I can't even go there right now because it's not fair to anybody. So many people are running good and it's not juju or good karma to start handicapping from my point of view. I know we have a great race car. I wouldn't want to race against it. Guido and the guys have planned for this. We've got our clutch disc that we've run throughout the year that he's happy with to go through the rest of the year. We've got the best parts in the world throughout the whole car. But you never know. It's drag racing, right? And we're going to go to tracks where conditions are going to be super killer and you're going to have to throw down. And then there's going to be hot days, tricky, until we get to the end of the year. So you've got to have a crew chief that can adapt. And that's the get up and go I brag about with Guido. But it's the truth. Could he throw down? Well, look at Pomona last year. 383 put us number 1, stole the points that set us up to win the championship the next day. So he can throw down with the best. We're going to see a lot of that throughout the conditions we're going to see in the countdown. So I'm like you, man. I don't know how the media or anybody's going to handicap it, but I just hope that we keep our feet on their throats because you can't back up and punt or play defense. And Matt Smith will tell you coming up, you've got to stay on and put the pressure on people and force lane choice and force people to make mistakes. There's a lot the fans don't know that goes on in that respect. There's runs that we will make or teams that are make that will almost help you win the next round because you're going to get in the head of the people you have to run. Hopefully, it's us, but that's what's going to happen. It's going to be so much fun. But we're all going to have ulcers as drivers and crew chiefs and team owners because it's going to be super stressful, but that's what we love. And hopefully we're in Temecula at the Awards Banquet again on Monday night. And I'm up on stage last.
Yeah. Well, there's a battle. There's all these battles, we can just drill down. Like I'm in trouble with this guy. He's like, hey man, why didn't you mention Tasca? And you didn't mention Cruz. So right. Everybody, everybody has shown some performance and Aaron Brooks and those guys. You're right. Tasca. Exactly. That's why you got to come out at the Pep Boys Nationals and set the tone. Michael Heiner saying congratulations. And I just got a text from Nikki Sheely from NHRA social media department who helps me with everything. And we work great together, but you were the feature of the Driven show that I have been pushing, our version of a reality show. And how did that go? What was it like being the focus of that new show for NHRA's YouTube channel called Driven, which drops on Monday?
Yeah, fans keep an eye out, NHRA.com and their YouTube channel. They followed me Sunday from the time I woke up in my hotel room to the end of the day. So there's some pretty behind the scenes. And I was leery. I'm like, man, this is pretty hardcore to do it on a Sunday of Indy, but it's going to be fun to watch it back. Because, we didn't win that day, but it set us up for the next day. But it'll be fun to watch. I'm interested because I couldn't even tell you what happened that day. It just went as a blur. So a lot of fun. Hope the fans enjoy it. Kurt, their camera guy, literally followed me everywhere. So a lot of good stuff. We want me talking to Guido, and they'll get to see how Guido's thought process is getting ready for the next round and things like that.
Well, that's the Drive to Survive thing that we have all come to love on the Formula One side, except we know ours would be better and cooler if we could do it. It just takes so much money in production. All right, couple things. Matt Smith is signing on the Stampede of Speed. I am now going into my Stampede of Speed promotion hype bandwagon because we got 3 races in a row, then a weekend off, then the Stampede of Speed at the Texas Motorplex. You last year were part of the Champions Dinner, and you went out there and won again. And so you're going to be part of the Champions Dinner again. We're going to be giving away free tickets, not to the Champions Dinner, guys, but to the event. I'm going to put a QR code on the screen right after Ron goes, which gets them in like Monday, Tuesday, Friday of the Fall Nationals. You get a ticket with that, but you got to scan the QR code. You got to sign up from around the country. I'll tell everybody, don't worry. But just hone in on the Stampede of Speed, and in particular that Champions Dinner tradition that they're trying to get going. And I understand that you get to pick part of the meal.
Last year, I got to pick the dinner from winning the year before. This is Wednesday night before the Dallas race. If you're in the Dallas area and it hasn't sold out yet, come to the Champions Dinner. I know Matt Smith, we had a great time. I got to pick dessert this year. I hope everybody loves it. Chrissy, Billy Meyer, they raised a lot of, much more incentive to win this year. It's still a bitchin' bonus just for Friday night low qualifier. They've really gone above and beyond for this whole Stampede of Speed. But with that being said, it's going to be, it's always, I always think Dallas, that race particularly always has a say in the championship. It did for me last year. It always seems to either catapult you well or it drops you back, but it's always a big deal going into Dallas and coming out of there trying to be unscathed. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that whole week, and it's going to be a blast.
And your first championship as well. All right, Matt. So Matt Smith is on. I'm going to bring him into the show before we let you go and just ask a question. Matt, hello.
Hey, Joe.
Okay, so for both of you,
hey, Ron.
What's up, dude?
Right? Like I love. Like yesterday, we had Antron and Hartford on. 2 people you don't normally see communicating with each other because it's just so tough. You're worried about Funny Car, you're worried about Pro Stock Motorcycle, but now you're communicating. But Antron Brown took Matt Hartford to task on the show for spraying champagne on you guys. I wonder if that's just an AB thing or if you guys would like to join Antron.
No, I was pissed. We all looked at each other. Don't spray each other. We're going to spray the media with the champagne. And Hartford turns and sprays me right in the face, and then he sprayed them too. I didn't realize he'd never won it. So, right, Matt? Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was we looked at each other before and said, "Don't spray each other or spray all the media." And then next thing you know, we're getting doused, and it was all Hartford that did it. So maybe we'll go and dunk him somewhere in a pool or something next time we see him.
I agree with Hartford, guys. You watch Formula One, they spray each other. It's not about the media. It's about you guys. You got to taste. It's drinking from the chalice of victory, literally.
Well, I'm sure they're fire suits. I know Ron's probably got a couple fire suits, and they can go through the dry cleaners pretty easy. But, man, leather suits, we can't put them in dry cleaners, and they are a pain in the butt to get champagne out of them.
Wow, very practical reason coming out of Matt Smith. Matt, is there anything you want to mention to Ron, a quick question or something before we let Ron go? If anything you guys want to say to one another, obviously you won Indy together. You are locked in history of NHRA drag racing together as winners of the 69.
Hey, I mean, I've been just so busy with this Suzuki program. I mean, I think Ron knows I haven't been on iRacing in forever. And I mean, 2 years ago when we had COVID and all that stuff, we were iRacing together like every night. And I really miss all that stuff because I really got close to Ron by iRacing and Tommy DeLago and all the people in that, but I just haven't been able to do it. And I mean, Ron's a really cool guy, and I look up to him, and it's amazing that what he's done by taking up ownership. I mean, and doing what he's doing. I mean, just finding sponsorship is really hard out there, so I'm really proud of him.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's cool. I told Matt, when I heard he won, I was getting strapped in the car, and I thought, we've won a lot together. So I've gotten down there and gotten in the truck with him many times. I thought, ooh, that made it a little better. I felt the odds a little better, and sure enough, we got to win and we got to celebrate again. But I can't wait to watch. I'll listen to the show right now, but I want to hear what went on at Pro Stock Bike because I didn't get a chance to watch it. Gage is pretty much run amok as well. So I want to see what happened during the day and see, because Matt Smith always finds a way to dig down. And, it's always a little bit encouraging to see, somebody fight through like that. So Another Indy, another crazy story, right? Antron and the way Matt came out and Hartford winning his first. So a lot of good stories. But I'll get off the show and let you guys chat. And we'll
Thank
get
you.
on.
And just so you know, Michael Heiner, who crew chiefs the Get Biofuel car, he says Hartford is generally a pro. So there you go. Ron, congratulations once again. Your second U.S. Nationals. We'll see you in a couple of days. We'll be in Reading, Pennsylvania, the House of Chaos, the Pep Boys NHRA Nationals at Maple Grove. It's going to be awesome. And we get to start it all again. The pressure cooker that is the playoff system known as the Countdown. You, Hagen, Robert, all trying to become a 4-time champion. Everybody else in the mix, all kinds of good sub-stories, side stories. Matt Smith trying to stop the Gage Herrera freight train, and maybe he just showed he can. It's going to be amazing for all of us. Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, man. I'll see you guys. Enjoy.
There he goes.
See you, Ron.
With us here on WFO Radio. And yeah, that's just cool stuff. What did you think of the snake car? Your dad is a legend. So you know what's up. But did that get you emotional?
It did, I mean, for Don Prudhomme and Ron to have that on the car and the throwback deal like that in the win, and Don be there. I mean, that's truly amazing. And I mean, when you talk about legends, I mean, got to just mention one more thing about legends. I mean, my dad got inducted into the Hall of Fame for, just the other day, and they're going to do that Wednesday before Gainesville next year. So big announcement for, my dad and Smith Racing and all that.
To be fair, he was nominated. He'll be inducted at the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame, which I believe that I'm still hosting. And so I am pretty excited about that one. And they just announced it, and it's just going to be amazing right before Gainesville. And we are encouraging everybody, as we did last year, to get tickets and don't wait till the very last second. It's a great event. It's a lot of fun. It's much shorter than it used to be. It used to be like a 5-hour thing. It's not anymore. We got it running tight and smooth and all that. Speaking of your dad, you got into the window of his car on one of the runs, and he said that he didn't even notice you. You talked to him. What did you tell him? Did you tell him, hey, man, they might be not as problematic over there as you think they are? Or it looked like you were giving him a little heads up.
Well, to be honest, he did not see me. He's got these big blinders on his helmet. And I noticed when he pulled up from after the burnout, after, he shut the door and started pulling up, I noticed his window net was not up. So that's what and at that time I saw the starter walking that way, and I just ran up there real quick and grabbed the door open and jerked the window net and put the window net up. That's all I was doing. I was just getting the window net up. It was just the new guy that he had, just didn't put that up before the round, and my dad just didn't notice it. So I didn't say nothing to him. I was just getting that up for him.
Got it. All right. But that was like a little bit of a mini dramatic moment, like what's going on out there, and a couple of legends. All right. You're a 6-time champ. You won the U.S. Nationals again. You've gone back-to-back. Everybody went back-to-back, but it was a hard day at work. Let's talk about it. Number 4 qualifying spot. Gage was number 1. You got through John Hall in the first round. You're 008 against John Hall, who I believe was on a Matt Smith racing motorcycle when he won the U.S. Nationals a couple of years ago. People sleep on John Hall, but he won the big go and should be afforded the personal respect that comes along with it. And you didn't take him lightly.
I didn't, and when he won that on my bike, I was in the lane opposite of him for the finals. So I got runner up there. So he beat me on my own bike and, in the finals. So, no, John's a good competitor. I know they've struggled this year over there in that camp, with his bike. And I wasn't pushing a 008. I was trying to go 20s. And, so I set my clutch up second round to go back to the 20 range because 00 is just too close for me. I'd rather not push the tree like that.
Yeah. But you scored the win line. He was 008 as well. So a little revenge for you for that couple of years back. I think it was, I don't even know, 2016, 2017, something like that. You go on to the second round where you got to run Chase Van Zandt. And Chase and Tim Kalungian and White Alligator Racing, they've been working on some stuff as you've been working on some stuff. This is the U.S. Nationals. We've heard everybody talk about it. Antron said it yesterday. It's the race that everybody breaks out their new stuff or their best stuff or the stuff that they've got figured out the most. So nobody is on the back foot in theory. And Chase has been riding so well all year long. He's 14 on the tree, runs an 89, and you're still able to beat him. 24 on the tree, 86. So now you're grooving a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the track was really, really weird. Let's just go to say that. If you look at when I come out first round, qualifying, I went to number 4 spot. I went 199.79 or something like that, had top speed, and it was like it just tugged the motor too much through low gear. So I put a tooth on the bike and for second round, and I still tugged the motor. And it just one of them deals that I was on the rev limiter going through lights. So from that point forward, I didn't have the right low gear for our bike for that bad of air and the track to be that good. And I was running the bike down the track, and right at the finish line, I was chopping the throttle because I didn't need to hit the rev limiter for these Monster motors. They just don't like it. None of the Suzuki motors like it because that's what messes the crankshafts up in them. So needless to say, I just did not have the right ratios and all that stuff ready for Indy for as bad an air that it was, and the track was prepared and really good. And I just couldn't get everything going. And luckily that we got past Chase that round. I did my job on the tree. He did his job. He's a little bit quicker than I was, but I outran him and did our job.
Poochie's here to come. Let the dogs out.
I don't.
You got to put them on the screen, man. Like nobody can steer dogs without seeing them. Go grab one of those dogs. Go grab one of those dogs. Yeah, we love puppies. All kinds of animals. So the ratings are about to go up. Share and retweet if you like dogs, because we got Matt is about to break out one of his pups there.
Well, I was a little late because we're pouring concrete today. I have a new building that we're putting up, and we're pouring concrete, and we pulled the motorhome out to get ready. We're going to Supercross tonight, this evening, and tomorrow at ZMAX. I don't know if anybody's seen the racetrack, but
yes.
It's got a lot of dirt on it. So we're going down to hang out with that for tonight and tomorrow. And, hopefully they get all that dirt and mud off there. So we're ready to race there in 2 weeks.
Speedway Motorsports loves moving dirt around into places that we're not used to seeing it. Guys, if I don't have a photo available, otherwise I put it on the screen, but you don't have to go far. Go to ZMAX Dragway's Facebook account, and you will see the 4-lane racetrack that we're used to seeing is now totally under dirt. You can barely recognize what's going on there. And we're going to be there in what? 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of dirt on it, like I said, and we're supposed to get rain tomorrow. So this is going to be like a mud fest down there, I think, if it rains like they say it's going to rain tomorrow night. So it's going to be very interesting to see, because this is probably one of the biggest Supercross tracks I've ever seen. It goes from the start line, it goes around in front of the tower, goes down all 4 lanes of the drag strip, and even goes over into the motorhome lot with part of the track that goes outside the facility by the scoreboards on the right side. So this is a huge track. So if you haven't seen the pictures, it's pretty amazing what they've done.
Yeah, it really is. And I have total confidence, 100%, that by the time we get there, all of that will be gone. But it's going to be amazing to see them do it. That is for certain. All right, let's go back to drag racing in that semifinals. Angie had to run Hector, who was fast. He made it to the final round against you. You ran Gage. And there was a lot going on both, because you were very animated on the starting line. And that's the thing about being outside the car. We can see your body language. That the Aranas said that their starter was jumping off of the thing and they were like having trouble. You said in the media center you think it was a little gamesmanship. Do you still think it was gamesmanship, or what do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, so I'll tell you exactly what happened. So they told us to start the bikes, and I looked over at Hector. I said, start up, because they are typically the ones that take the longest to line up. They want Hector Jr. as perfect as they can get it. So everybody knows they take a little longer than everybody else. And 9 times out of 10, we're sitting there waiting on them. So I told them to start up. They wouldn't start up. So I told Angie, I said, just start up and let it idle. So she started up. I looked back over at them. Our bike's running. I told them to start up. And they said, no, start your burnout. And I said, no, start up. And again, he shook his head. He said, no. So I reached over to Angie's bike and I cut it off. And that's when the guy that told us to start up, he said, told them to start up. And when that guy told us to start up, we had a new guy over there, Boo Brown, was on Angie's bike, and luckily she had the clutch in. Well, he hit the start button again and started her bike up when she wasn't supposed to start up. So anyway, when she started up, I hollered over there and I told him to start up. And then he tried to start up, but the starter come out. Well, it come out like 3 times. And by this time, I'm furious because our bike's just sitting there idling. So they wanted to play this game, and I was dead set. I was pissed at the time, and you know, we went on and did our deal, and Angie got beat. But I can assure you of this. I'd already told everybody in our pit. I said, do not hit that start button on my bike until their bike is running, because you know what? NHRA can throw us both out. I am not starting my bike before them. And I didn't care if we lost that race because we both got thrown out. It didn't matter to me. NHRA is going to have to decide who they were going to give the trophy to if they threw us both out. And that's what happened. They started up, and once they started up, I started up my bike. But I just, you know, there's times to play games. There's not times to play games. But starting a bike up and holding somebody out like that is not the time to do that. Got it.
And that sets up the final round against Hector. He goes red by 3 thou. He was 84 and you were 86. So if he turns it green, and that's just the part of being the man in the arena, right? Like you risk a moment like that you're going to remember forever. If he turns it green, for the most part, he's got you beat, but he turned it red, and you are a back-to-back U.S. Nationals winner, winning the big go once again.
Yeah, I mean, to back up the third round just briefly, I mean, you know, I had to run Gage there after talking about Hector, and, you know, I left on Gage just a little bit, and, you know, his bike had a problem out there. You know, I don't really know exactly what happened, but, you know, we outran him, and we got the win light. And then we had to run Hector, and, you know, like I said all weekend, I never could get my bike to run fast, 60-foot wise. 109 was the best I could go all weekend. And I think for us to go an 86 and an 86 and an 87 and an 88 with a 109 60-foot, that was pretty good. That showed that we had good power, but we just could not get off the line. And the majority of everybody else was going 105s. I think Hector Jr. went 106. And, you know, Gage is going 103s. You know, just I don't know what he's got going on, but they got something with that bike that's just remarkable, and I can't figure it out. And, well, nobody else in the class can either.
Not yet, but you did beat him. And so whoever it was that put up the Gage versus the field bet, and the people that took the field got it because you were able to beat Gage. And I think that is one of the first times. Gage has gone to red a couple of times this year, and Gage has had some on-track problems this year. And he might have had a problem there. You said he had a problem, but he still ran a 92. Right? It wasn't like he was 710, not going into gear, deadheading, or something like that. That he got beat. Right. He got beat. You left a couple of thou ahead of him, and he got beat. And so in the winner circle and in the media center, you started talking a little bit about this reset. Like he lost more than anyone in this weekend because of the countdown. And now here you guys are all right up on top of him. You've had an entire year to get your stuff as good as is possible. And you sounded in the media center, and I want to dig in on that. You sounded confident that you're going to be able to, at very least, make it a fight against Gage in this countdown.
Oh, we're going to make it a fight. I mean, I look at us going back, if Reading's typically fast track, Charlotte's pretty fast a lot of times, you know, in October or in September, and so is St. Louis. So we're not going to have the conditions we had at Indy. So we're going back to like Seattle territory and Sonoma territory, in my opinion, of running wise. And if you look, I ran really good there. I was right there with them at Sonoma, within 1 thou of them. When we 60-footed, we were there. So I really think that with him losing 300 some points, I'm 29 points back behind him now in second place. I think we put some pressure on him. And if we go out there and we 60-foot 105 or 104, I think we can run with him or outrun him. So I'm definitely have a lot of confidence in that. Now, I could be totally wrong. They might turn it up even more. But I really feel like that we can run with him if our bike was 60 foot these next 2 or 3 races and give him a battle. And if I can give him a battle, that's what I want, because we don't want to see anybody run away with it. I mean, he ran away with the regular season, but it's countdown time. And I can promise you this Denso motorcycle is going to be fast. I guarantee you Angie's going to be fast, because we had electrical problems on her bike up there. She didn't show her potential, because she should have been running way faster than she was. So we're going to have 2 Denso bikes, I feel like, that can really compete for this championship. And our goal is to get 7 or 1. That's the goal. That's the goal of the MSR Denso team.
Now that's 7. Okay. 7 would put you in uncharted territory. Nobody has done that in pro stock motorcycle. It's pretty amazing. Angie, we'd all love to see her get her first championship. She's been on a fast bike, and she, tends to win that final race. So she knows how to get that job done. But you said something that was a little shocking to me in the media center, and everybody gets reflective, guys. Like they just won Indy, and all these like emotions are all running all over them. You said if you won your 7th championship, you would take the year off. You would take off a season, which was a bit of a stunner to me. Here we are days later. Do you still stand by that?
I do. I do. Clearly. I mean, if I can pull this out and win the 7th championship, and that would be 4 in a row, I would 100% take the year off. I'm not retiring. I'm not going to be like my dad and say I'm going to retire, but I will take the year off. I might run a race here or there, whatever, but I would definitely take the year off, and I will 100% put my focus on Angie and Gianna as making their bikes as fast and as quick as I can, whether they're on Suzuki, they're on V-Twins, whatever. We will have both brands to play with. And that'll be my goal. It's not that I don't focus on them now. It's just that I think that me taking that year off would help them, because they know in their camp that they feel like a lot of times that I have the better bike or whatever. And I try to set up all these bikes to be the same, and they just have to ride them and do the best of their ability. But I want to just give them the opportunity to be the best one in our camp either way, and let the 2 girls battle it out, and me just be the crew chief. I'd be like Andrew Hines, just let my riders do the talking for us.
Yeah. You just want to have a meal. You just want to be able to eat normally is what it is. All right. Angie Smith, what bike is she going to be on for the countdown? And what's the Red Rocket doing? And what's up with that? Lay it out for us.
The Red Rocket is ready to go. She's not going to be on it at Reading. We're going to run her bike one more time at Reading, and see if we can get it right. And if we can, then she'll continue with that one. We have Chip Ellis coming out with the brand new bike that we built that went 68 over the winter, or 69, whatever it did over the winter. He's going to be at Reading on that bike, and we're going to do some testing with his bike and try to learn some stuff. If she doesn't run good at Reading, then she can either get on the bike that Chip's on for Charlotte, or she can ride the Red Rocket. I don't care. I think all the bikes are fast. I know the new bike we built for Chip is fast. I know the Red Rocket's fast. Her bike's fast. We're just having a problem right there at 60 foot. And we even went and tested before Indy, and Chip came down and rode it. And the same problem is going on with Chip on the bike. So we've eliminated the rider. We've eliminated everything on it. It's chassis or clutch related with that bike. And so the next step is to swap bikes.
Got it. Is Chip going to try to qualify 16th?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, who knows? It might be time to start playing games right at the beginning instead of waiting to the last 2 or 3 races.
Really? I mean, if this is a war like we're talking about, right? Like, why save the big moves till the end when it's desperation time? Why not just do it at the very beginning? It is tough. It is tough to qualify 16th, but depending on how many bikes there are entered, and sometimes there are only 16, you never know. You never know. Matt, anything else you want to say to the fans out there, fans of drag racing, pro stock motorcycle in general, as you get ready to go to battle in the countdown?
I just want to thank all the fans. I mean, everybody that comes by supports us. I mean, you see a lot of stuff on the internet. We have fans that love us. We have fans that hate us. But I promise you one thing. I love our class. I love Pro Stock Motorcycle. I support our class 150%. I think MSR has done more to bring more bikes to our class than any other team out there over the last 4 or 5 years. We field normally 3, 4, 5 bikes at races. So I support our class 100%. And sometimes people don't agree with everything that we do, but for the most part, thank you for all the fans that support our team and help us, and our sponsors, from Denso to Lucas Oil to Mark and Marshall Stockseth to Greg Butcher Trucking, Smith Trucking, and even the small ones from CP Pistons, the Worldwide Bearings, all those people that help us. Even Suzuki jumped on board this year and is helping us with our Suzuki program. So thank you to everybody that helps us. You just don't know how much it means to us.
That's awesome. Matt, good luck. Enjoy your weekend. Whatever you do in testing, you're going to Supercross, right? Have fun there. Take a lot of pictures, post them up, and we'll see you at the House of Chaos Pep Boys Nationals in just a few days. Congratulations on winning Indy again.
Thank you. And, we'll put up some bunch of photos. And I forgot one more person, Steve Nichols, Max ECU. Thank you for everything he does, because I tell you what, we wouldn't be where we're at right now with the Suzuki program without the Max ECU on there. So thank you to Steve and everything he's done for us.
Steve, thank you, Steve. Hopefully you're out there watching, but he is, I do not ever reject information or perspective. And he, throughout Indy, was coming over to me and just giving me some perspective, some of the big runs that Gage was making in the heat. Like, wow, what you guys were doing, just kind of coaching me up a little bit on what he was thinking about, what was going on, helped me understand. And you guys went on and won the race. So that's amazing. Thank you, Steve, for that.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. Say hi to Angie. Say hi to doggies.
I will.
All right, Matt. And of course, Ricky as well. Have fun at Supercross.
All
Here
right.
he goes. Matt Smith.
Thank you.
On WFO Radio, right? Some comments out there. Get your comments in the comment section. No games, just race. I don't know. I like the games. Some games are fun games. Other games are less fun. It all depends. Greetings, Joe and Matt, says Rick. Rick just got that in. Matt, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Matt Smith with us here on WFO Radio. All right. Got a couple things I want to tell you guys about, and I want your comments in the comment section. And it's Friday, baby. This is it. You don't have anything to do. Just blow it all off for the rest of the day, guys. This is WFO time now. But I did warn you, and now is the time. Boom. That is a QR code. This QR code, if you choose to scan it, like taking the red pill in the Matrix, will change your existence. If you choose to scan the QR code. Now, what is behind that QR code? I can tell you what's behind the QR code are free tickets. You have to sign up for them and you get an email confirmation to the Stampede of Speed Monday through Friday, basically, of the week. Are they good for Saturday and Sunday of the Texas Fall Nationals? No, they are not. You're not getting free tickets to the NHRA National event, but you are getting free tickets to Friday night of the national event. Yeah. So it behooves you to do it. You get tickets to the Top Sportsman, Top Dragster Shootout, which is happening on Tuesday. You get tickets to the media event. There's the big barbecue cook-off. There's all kinds of great stuff going on. There's open testing on Thursday, the Jegs All-Stars. All of that is on the end of your Stampede of Speed ticket. So I want you all to scan this. Scan it. Now, why would you scan it? You scan it. Like, what if you're not going, right? Like, well, I don't know if I can make it. I think everybody should scan it regardless, because they want to send tickets out around the country and have people come in, because maybe you can come in. Maybe you can make it. We are weeks out of the Stampede of Speed. Now, what happened last year? Well, my favorite thing is the Champions Dinner. Okay, I was there. You see me with my bolo tie, trying to look the part. It was amazing. Matt Smith, Ron Capps, Justin Ashley, they were all part of it. Greg Anderson. This year, it's going to be Justin and Capps. It's going to be Hector, and it's going to be Erica as the guests of honor. Tickets are on sale right now for the Champions Dinner if you want to purchase a table, like a whole table just for you and your people. Maybe you're a sponsor, maybe you're a race team, you want to go there, you want to get your mind right, and the past champions are all around. Like there might be one at your table. So you can do that. And later on in the week, I believe, they're going to open it up to individual tickets for the Champions Dinner, which is not part of the QR code. That is a special deal. But we had a good time last year. They had a big concert. It was amazing. The Stampede of Speed in general, well, throughout the week, they're just doing fun and crazy stuff. Like last year, Stevie Fast won this like one-off pro mod race that they had. This year, they're going to have a Top Sportsman, Top Dragster Challenge. Scott Palmer is going to have his Friday night deal going. You all remember Studezilla. There it is. May Studezilla rest in peace. But I'd have communicated with Palmer, and Palmer is going to be there. He's going to be up and rolling. In fact, he's going to be my Nitro School co-professor at the Stampede of Speed. So everybody that now, like Scott Palmer in his legend, has grown even more. You're going to definitely want to come out to the Fall Nationals and the Stampede of Speed and see Scott. But once again, I'm going to put it up there one more time, the QR code for the Stampede of Speed. They want people scanning it, folks. That's it. You're helping WFO by scanning the QR code. And you might be saying to yourself, like, Joe, why don't you just drop the link? Drop the link in the thing. Well, it's about scanning. It's about scanning. So you want to scan that QR code. And I will drop the link next week. We'll drop the link. We're going to drop it, baby. Simple as that. But we had a great time at the Stampede of Speed last year. And I'm putting it out there on my social channels. All right. Other things to discuss, right? The people who make WFO possible. It's as simple as that. For instance, our Patreon VIP listener club. You can join for a year. It's not for like season. So you would go like September to September. And if you do, I'll send you a t-shirt and one of the great new WFO hero cards, along with decals and a patch and everything you get. Patreon.com/WFO radio. You're paying for the show, but you're really paying for behind the scenes and to help the show as best as you can. It's amazing. We've got like 80 people on there supporting WFO radio behind the scenes, however they choose, which is amazing. Our friends at Torque Calibration Services of Australia. If you're down under or from down under, the next time you're down under and you need your torque wrenches perfectly calibrated, you want to reach out to Matt Clark at Torque Calibration Services of Australia, torquecalibrationservices.com.au, and they will keep your wrenches right on the money. They work at V8 supercars and Top Fuel and have got great relationships with many and most of the professional teams down there. And they go in and they make sure everything is absolutely correct. Very important. Think of vital torque specs. And what if your wrench is off by 5 pounds? That can change everything. TorqueCalibrationServices.com.au. Marvin Rodak. Speaking of the Stampede of Speed, Marvin is down there in Fort Worth, Texas. And if you're planning on heading down there, I recommend you reach out to Marvin, 817-924-6821, and plan the purchase of coffee so he doesn't have to ship it to you. And you can get all you need for 2024 and beyond. But he roasted fresh per your order. It's an amazing experience if you can swing by Rodax. Call Marvin. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School just sent the Colettas out there on a jaunt. Luke Fath got in it. Very cool story that, even professional race car drivers are going through Frank Hawley's and having a good time with it, right? And children of professional race car drivers. But the way I look at it is if you are looking for a great holiday gift coming up, just stop and lock it in with Frank Hawley's Dragster Adventure for your loved one. And it'll be good to go. Call Frank Hawley. Go to frankhawley.com. Tell him you heard about it on WFO Radio. You want to tell everybody that you heard it on WFO Radio, especially Sam Tech, educating the next generation of machinists with engine block programs and cylinder head programs, motorsport EFI tuning programs, all of that. They're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill. Call Brian Massengill. Tell him, Castello told me. And here I am calling you. There's a lot of rumblings about PRI already. And of course, Total Seal, FTI, the folks at Foggett. If you're a Lucas Oil racer or bracket racer, you want to protect the inside of your engine, you've got to be using Foggett. Bernie Speed Shop and Phillips Connect, all stepping up to help WFO Radio. And we want, when you need them, remember that they support the show. And it's also great to get yourself a little WFO gear right now. The merch store is rolling and winter is coming. So wait for that next big sale and get yourself a WFO hoodie or a Miami Hollywood Speedway Classic shirt. We got a lot of good stuff going on. So you could look like Eddie from Garfolos, right? There he is. All right, let's see what everybody's got to say. I really just do that to stall so you guys can put your comments in the comment section. Steven, thanks for the QR code. Hopefully you scanned it, right? We'll drop the link next week. This week's about the QR code, but great stuff. Rick likes WFO. AJ likes WFO. Steven, awesome show. Thank you so much. My heroes live. What could be better? Or live. My heroes live. My heroes live. Either way. Live, I guess. I love when you get Matt Smith and Ron Capps on at the same time. You get Hartford and Antron on at the same time, like querying each other. And we've had a great week. Like you go back to the exclusive, you really go back to the behind the scenes of Flying H Motorsports Park. That video up on YouTube, still going like gangbusters. They've paved the track now, but you get the vision from the man whose vision it is, which is great. The snake fires up Cap's car video that we're putting out. We're putting out more videos because apparently if you want to do well on YouTube, you should put out videos. Who'd have thunk it? I guess it makes sense. And, you know, our live videos, I think YouTube doesn't really like live videos that are streamed through a third-party streaming program like the one I use and others. I'm sure they would prefer native streaming, but I don't care because most of our listeners are listening to the podcast. All right, guys, what am I going to go do? I am going to go work on Project Pontiac. That is right. We are got a lot going on. They're honing the block. We're getting parts and pieces. People are into it. They want to see this old bracket car that had great success back in the 1990s be resurrected as a super street car and get out there and try to run 1090s at NHRA divisional level with this guy doing the driving. You know, and it's all a tribute to my pop who bought the car in the first place. Had a great weekend, guys. Had a great weekend. Hanging out with Snake. You know, Snake is really my dad's drag racing hero, right? He's the one who got me into Don the Snake. And while other kids were playing with G.I. Joe and Batman, I was rooting for Snake in that Army car. And sure enough, but you know, we got new heroes like Eddie Granaccia. Congratulations to those guys. Matt Hartford gets his first win. Hartford was on yesterday. The Total SEAL team. They're going to shake it up in the countdown. Got to start off strong. That's it. Like now we're thinking countdown. What does it take to win the countdown? Remember last year, Erica went out there and just got after him. Set the tone for the countdown in the first race. Who's going to do it? You don't want to have to come from behind. You don't want to have to make a charge up to the front. You want to go to the semifinal round in the first race regardless. It's going to be very interesting to see because there's way more good cars than there are spots at the top because there's only one. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy WFO. Share the show. Indy, baby.